welcome to Telile Today. Joining me in the studio today is Beatrice MacNeil. Hello, Beatrice.
Hello.
And Beatrice is a well-known author of one of the children's books you wrote, you brought in with you today, and it's The Cat That Ate the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand you have a collection of books. You've written a few. This isn't your first.
Well, this is my second children's book. The first one was A Mouse in the House of Miss Krause. So the second one I've done is The Cat That Ate the Moon, with the illustrations by my friend. You know, they're done in cross-stitch, not your traditional painting.
Right, right. Actually, a friend of mine did the cross-stitch, because you also include the pattern for
Yes,
this
in the back of the book, yes.
Yes, and it's very nice. Now, did you always write children's books? Because I understand
No, I had four grown children, but when they were younger, I did do stories for my own children, and but not until years later did I attempt to put anything out for other people's children.
Okay.
So this is the second, but I'm working on my novel now. I also had a book of short stories out, The Moonlight Skater.
Okay.
And I have several short stories published in anthologies. So I've decided it was about time to do something much longer, so I'm just at the tail end of my novel.
Okay. Now, I understand you also did, I would call it an education book. Now, I never read the book, but in reading your bio, you did a book on nouns and verbs?
This is the novel, a collection of nouns and verbs.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
The one you're working on?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was already published. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
No, it will be supposedly ready for September with Key Porter Books in Toronto.
Okay. Okay.
So I am working on the finale right now.
Now, how does that go? How do you go from writing a children's book to, well, the short stories I can see, because, you know, children's books tend to be short stories geared towards children, but to a novel, like...
I found the novel, of course, you write a novel in chapters, so I find the novel much easier to write because you're pertaining to the same... You have the same theme all through this novel.
Okay.
A children's book I find much harder to do.
Really?
Well, you have to write something that will capture the child's imagination. Then you have to write something that's going to capture the publisher's imagination. Then the mothers and fathers who go out and the grand-mère puis grand-père will go and buy this.
Sure.
So it has to, you have like layers for a children's book.
Right, right.
Whereas with a novel, you have the one theme.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I would think, I know I had seen it written somewhere that children's books were the hardest to do, and believe me, whoever said it knew what they were talking about.
Okay.
Because they're quite, kids can be very critical. You know, they're great, you know, don't underestimate their intelligence. Kids are very sharp, and they'll tell you much quicker than an adult will.
Yeah. I told you earlier, I attempted to read this book to my nephew, and I don't see him every day. And when I took the book over, he was just getting up from his nap. So I was doing things a little bit backwards here. And he wasn't. He was hungry, and he was hyper, and I had to come over here and look at the pictures, and he was more interested in the cheesies and then the TV and running back and forth. But I thought it was a very nice book.
Oh, it is. I've had compliments about it.
And like you say,
a lot of older people will buy it, especially cat lovers. And you know, like the little grand-mères and who have cats, and because anything pertaining to an animal is going to draw people in.
Yeah. Now, my sister and I had this discussion. Maybe you can straighten us out, Beatrice. Is it supposed to be a Siamese cat?
Well, actually, Donna had, the illustrator did have, at one time, had a cat. It is.
Okay.
So, or she had 3 or 4 Siamese cats, and so I think Lunar Bee
Was based on one person?
will stand as Siamese.
Okay.
Well, it's not mentioned in here that
No,
he is.
no. And I said, well, he could be a white and black cat or a white and brown cat. Doesn't mean he's Siamese.
No, he's
but he does
rather
have the
distinctive looking.
markings. Yeah,
He definitely does look like a Siamese cat.
He does. I guess, Beatrice, our viewers might be interested to know where you're from. I know these things because I read the bio before you come in. Now, originally you're from Glace Bay, are you
I was born in Glace Bay, but when I was about 6 or 7, we did move to L'Ardoise. That's where my mother was from.
Okay.
And that's where I grew up.
Okay. So tu parles français?
Well, when I was there, I did.
Okay.
But I do go back and I do.
Sure.
I certainly understand.
You do have Acadian heritage, though.
Yes, and I understand them completely. And the reason I wouldn't get into a full French conversation with you is because there are, lapses that
Okay.
you would have to explain to me. So
Yeah, but here on the island, it's 3 words of French and 4 of English and a couple more French. It's pretty relaxed.
well, I think that was like where I grew up. A lot of it
yeah.
was
Yeah.
part French, part. There was definitely a lot of English
Mixed in.
thrown in. So no, it's a language. It's a very lyrical language. It's a language I enjoy and wish that I had full possession of. But I certainly don't. But I will claim it because it is so beautiful. I love the accent.
Well, it's something to be proud of, being an Acadian, I think.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And when I do readings, people know that I'm French.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I'm either French or I'm Irish, or I'm from Newfoundland, or
They can't quite place it.
But I think when I speak here, people know that definitely in the background there is some French.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you fit in just nicely.
So anyway, it's.
Yeah. So now where do you reside?
I live in East Bay.
Okay.
We bought a home there 10 years ago.
Okay. Now my dad would say, how far from the tea room is she?
Oh, I'm maybe 10 miles from I still
Rita's.
go in miles.
Okay. Yeah, me
I
too.
haven't converted. I'm about 10
10 miles.
miles from Rita's tea room.
Oh, okay. It's a lovely
So-
area out there too, isn't it?
It's quite nice. I'm very close to the lake, and it's rather a summery place. But we converted our home into a winter,
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
so we're there all winter.
Oh, okay.
When the summer people leave, we are alone. So,
Peace and quiet.
well,
at
it's a
last.
great place to write because
Yes.
my only visitors in the winter are squirrels and an occasional weasel and deer.
Right.
It's very secluded. So,
Yeah.
but I like the water. I'm kind of drawn back to the sea, to the like in L'Ardoise or here is very
Yeah.
water. I'm a
Yeah.
Taurus, so I'm supposed to be a water person.
Well, there you go.
So anyway,
Yeah. So I understand in your bio you've been nominated for many awards and you've received many awards. You want to tell us a bit about that as well?
well, the Moonlight Skater, I won the Dartmouth Book Award in '94, and I've also written plays. I have about 10 plays, and the first one won the original playwriting at UCCB. I believe that was way back in '85,
Oh,
and Miss Krause won the Nova Scotia Authors Award for the children's book.
okay.
Now I'm waiting for the novel to claim its prize.
You got to get it published first, okay, Beatrice? That's
Well, they
important.
say it's coming out in September,
Yes, yes.
along with a new novel by Sheldon Curry.
Okay.
So they're putting 2 more. They'll have 2 more Cape Breton novels on the Toronto scene.
On the bookshelves. Good, good. Do you want to tell me a bit about the novel before you? I understand you're going to do a reading.
I'll do
for
the
us?
first chapter. Well, I've based it on a fictional Acadian village, Saint-Ouen. And so what I have done is a rather social, would be social issues and issues that I grew up around. The highlight of the book is based on this little girl named Marie-Jeanne Delin. So Marie-Jeanne is brought up in a home with two older twin brothers. Now, the mum never married, so they had to deal with these issues of being illegitimate children in a predominantly Catholic environment. Plus, Marie-Jeanne is handicapped by a learning disability, which is never looked after, and rather the child suffers the like the penalty of never being able to learn like others did. So she actually is labeled retarded, which I hate that word, but that's what was used years ago.
Such a harsh word.
And the superior would never allow her to grade.
Oh, just kept holding her back.
She would go to school and go into different classes and rather would do errands, menial errands, and she was never given,
the opportunity,
really, to learn. And so it follows her life. And what happened, and her brothers are very, very bright and, of course, together, and they don't have the crucifixes that one would carry as alone.
Is this a Today novel or early 1900s or?
It's in the 50s.
In the 50s?
Yes.
Okay. So can you read to us, Fred?
Well, this is the first chapter, and this opens up on the scene when Marie-Jeanne is 5.
Okay.
And she starts, I do believe what the editor at Key Porter said, it reads very much like a journal. So it would be like a child
telling the story.
Telling you a story.
Okay.
And it's called A Collection of Nouns and Verbs. The first chapter is titled October Storm. My name is Marie-Jeanne Delin, and there is something I am going to tell you. When I was 5 years old, I did not have a birthday cake. It was because of the storm that streaked the afternoon sky in early October of 1953 and took from me a wish for 100 crayons to color my world. I had a backup wish, a father for me and my twin brothers, Alfred and Albert. My world of storms and wishes was located on the rim of a paper map in the Acadian village of Saint-Ouen on Cape Breton Island. The storm came without warning. Sudden rumblings and veins of gold lightning panicked my mother. She had little time to gather her defenses. Holy water and palm and rubber boots, the relics of fear and salvation. She shouted to Alfred to throw water in the stove to choke the flames. He did. He poured 2 dippers of water on the burning wood. Albert put on his boots and ran out the back door to get our neighbor, old Mrs. Landry. She lived across the road from us with her 3 tomcats and a faded picture of her dead husband, Zeppi. They got to our door just as the rain fell as hard as nails on the roof and the grass in the field shone like green frost. Mrs. Landry was praying when she came in the door. My God, she shouted to my mother, who was sprinkling holy water on the stove. We are going to get hell today. The world is on fire. It's rotten with sin. Mama opened another bottle of holy water and squirted the flue. They started saying the rosary together in French and breathing hard like 2 dogs running up a hill. I hated for hell to be so close to me on my birthday. How close is it? I sobbed. Mrs. Landry answered, the storm is over to Co-op Hall. The co-op is 2 miles from here, said Alfred. I ran upstairs to get my rag doll Lizzie and stuffed her, head and all, into an old rubber boot. I carried the boot under my arm and ran downstairs to wait for help to come. Alfred and Albert were sitting on the kitchen floor. They were counting the distance a clap of thunder and a flash of lightning made. It's getting closer, said Albert. Mrs. Landry screamed. Mama threw a boot at my brothers and made them pray. I pulled Lizzie out of the boot and cried for the son. "Yous two might as well be Presbyterians for all the rosaries you'll say," Mama screamed at Alfred and Albert. Mrs. Landry sat on the couch. She was 70 years old and full of blue veins and bobby pins. Mama soaked a face cloth in holy water. She tried to wash Mrs. Landry's face, as if she could wash the fear out of our neighbor, who threw her head against the back of the couch and moaned. "It's okay, Tori," Mama whispered. "God knows it is October. This is his last storm until spring, we pray." My brothers laughed out loud. "Go to hell upstairs," Mama shouted, "so yours will be closer to the roof in case she caves in." I sat at the bottom of the stairs with Lizzie. I could hear the rain falling on the roof as if it were washing it with a heavy steel brush. Alfred and Albert were on the top of the stairs, looking out the window. They dragged their tongues down the window pane. They were trying to race the raindrops that were crawling down like slow bugs on a mound. My brothers' birthdays were in May. They were 8 years old when I was 5. They got a birthday cake because there were no clouds to threaten our souls with thunder that day. God kept the skies clear on their birthday, and afterwards they chased each other around the woodpile with an axe. We were not allowed to go outside in a thunderstorm. Mama said God knew what he was doing, and on my birthday he was warning us that we had sinned too much, and he could burn us up at any minute for punishment. Thunder is God's voice, Mama warned. His angry voice, the one he uses when people are breaking too many of his laws. God knows it was you who put the turpentine under the tails of Mrs. Landry's tomcats. Please, God, I prayed to myself. I didn't soak the tomcats. It was Alfred and Albert. I just borrowed the turpentine from Mrs. Landry. Please don't burn me up on my birthday, or my brothers either. Mrs. Landry began to cry for her dead husband, Zeppy. My brother sneaked down the stairs and sat beside me and Lizzie. She is going foolish, Alfred said. The holy water is not working on her. The three of us stuck out our necks to get a better look at Mrs. Landry. Her face was pale. She kept mumbling something about her dead husband. He had the prayer, Adele, she said to Mama in French. He had the prayer that could stop storms in midair, but the fool took it with him when he went. Where did Zeppy take the prayer, I asked. He must have taken it to Halifax, whispered Alfred, where he worked on the docks. He was a stevedore, Albert said. The prayer may have drowned in the harbour. Mrs. Landry and her husband lived 6 puddles from our house when it rained. I counted them one day when my mother sent me over to borrow a turnip. Zeppy was very kind. He gave me a picture of 3 dancing girls staring in a mirror. Their ponytails were tied with pretty rainbow ribbons that matched their dresses. On their feet were soft slippers. They looked like they were painted there forever, and the girls smiled as if they knew they would never have to wash their feet again. See the girl in the middle, Zeppy had said. She looks like you, Marie-Jeanne. She has your fiery red hair. Mrs. Landry put the picture in a bag with the turnip. Don't let your brothers near the picture, Zeppy warned, or they will take the axe to it for sure. I was closing the latch on the back door when Zeppy said to his wife, that poor kid, a Scotchman got on that one for sure, with all that colouring and all. God knows who owns her and them twins, with their black curly hair and blue eyes. I ran home with my picture in the turnip. I was happy that God knew for sure who owned me and my brothers. I remember asking Mama for a father for me and Alfred and Albert. I want a kind father, one like old Zeppy, who will give me pictures. Mama got very cross. They'll give you more trouble than pictures, Marie-Jeanne. And don't ask me again. She cried then, and I didn't know why. She was scrubbing the kitchen floor. I watched as she wiped her tears with the scrubbing rag and then soaked them in the bucket. Alfred and Albert climbed back upstairs and started to drag their tongues on the window pane again. "Come and play, Marie-Jeanne," they coaxed. "No, I'm too scared." "It's only a storm," Alfred said. "They scare me." "You're scared of everything," Albert said. "And besides, you'd be deader than a native if it hit you. So come on up." "No, I don't want to be dead." The lightning was blazing like a bonfire, burning up all the clouds in its way. Alfred said to Albert, "Let's open the window and collect a handful of rain. We can soak her head." I told Mama what they were doing. I was scared that a piece of thunder might be in the rain. Mama went upstairs after them. I tried to squeeze out the sound of the beatings. I put my fingers in my ears, but I could still hear. "We were only fooling," Albert's voice cried. "You can't fool God in a thunderstorm," Mama screamed. "He knows who's possessed. I'm going to drag the two of you to Father Benoit and have him bless the devil out of you at Mass on Sunday." Mama came down the stairs with her beads in her hand. I didn't know how the devil got in the house and possessed him. I figured it must have been when they opened the window. I didn't hear my brothers moving again until Albert whispered for me to look up. They were standing at the top of the stairs with their pants down. I didn't tell Mama. There were enough welts on them to scare the devil for a long time. I heard Mama telling Mrs. Landry, "You're so lucky, Tori. You have no kids to torture you in storms." I could hear Alfred and Albert's laughing voices leaking out from under their quilt. I didn't want my mother to drag them to the priest for a blessing. Father Benoit shouted to the parishioners on Sunday, "You are all spotted with sin, each and every one of you, and you had better start erasing them before it's too late." I saw a man sitting 2 rows from us scratch his head and then his ear. "He's starting to erase them before anyone else," I thought to myself. The priest looked at everyone, row by row. I did not like the sound of his voice. It went up and down, up and down. "I am warning you," the voice said. Alfred and Albert grabbed each other by the ears until they turned blood red. "I got yours," Albert whispered to Alfred, and then they laughed. We rode the 7 miles to church in the back of the old co-op truck. It was filled with wooden benches on Sunday. I sat on Mama's lap to make room for the older people to sit down. "Stand in front of me," Mama ordered my brothers, "so I can keep an eye on you so you don't try anything smart, like jumping out of the truck." When we got to church, the skinny co-op man came around the back and unhooked the rope. And Mama gave him 10 cents for taking us to church to erase our sins. When our neighbor Zeppi died that spring, we did not go to church in the co-op truck. Someone gave us a ride in a blue car. We followed behind a truck that carried Zeppi and the pallbearers in the back. Mrs. Landry sat in the front seat. She didn't take her nose from her handkerchief until we reached the church. Me and my brother sat in the back seat with our mother. The man opened the car door for us, and then he opened the front door for Mrs. Landry. She let out a squeal. "Zeppi, Zeppi, you are really dead. Oh, mon poor Zeppi." The man and Mama helped her out of the car. She wobbled back and forth like a strip of raw wind. Alfred and Albert ran into the graveyard next to the church. They wanted to see the hole that was dug for Zeppi. They climbed on the blanket of dirt that was waiting to cover him. The 6 pallbearers, with black ribbons tied around their arms, unloaded Zeppi from the truck and carried him into the church. We followed behind. Father Benoit sprinkled the coffin with holy water and then circled Zeppi with smoke hanging from a chain. "Zeppi is on his way home," he said in a somber voice. Mrs. Landry blew her nose loudly. Father Benoit looked around and then continued to speak. "When you cry for the dead, it means you are crying for yourself. Mrs. Landry cried for herself all spring and summer. and into the October storm. Mama told us that Seppi's heart fell out from hard work. He had been cutting kindling for the morning fire when he died. Mrs. Landry had found him at the woodpile. We were not allowed to go to their house until Seppi was ready for his wake. Some men came to the house and washed the balsam from his hands and shaved the whiskers from his face. They cut his hair and trimmed his mustache and closed his gentle blue eyes forever from the world with 2 brown coppers. Mama took me by the hand over to Mrs. Landry's. Old Seppi was lying on his bed in his dark suit. His stocking feet were pinned together with a rusty safety pin. His beads were wrapped in his still hands. His black coffin was sitting on 2 wooden barrels. The men lifted Seppi and put him in the coffin so people could get a look at his clean face. I looked at him for a long time. I had never seen a dead person. I was sure I could see the smile on his face, the one that was there when he gave me the picture. At the wake, Mama made me and my brothers touch Seppi's hands. "You have to touch the dead or you will dream about them," she said. I did not like the feel of the dead in my hands. People got too cold with no heart. Even kind Seppi. My brothers grabbed his hand and shook it hard, as if they were meeting him for the first time. Mama grabbed them by the hair. "Do that again," she warned, "and Seppi will come back and rip the tongues right out of your heads." She threw them outside. I went out behind them. They ran home with their lips sealed tight until they reached our doorstep and stuck out their tongues. A few weeks later, they said that they had had the same dream. Seppi was in our porch in his dark suit, stealing flour and potatoes. He was covered with flour because he had nothing to put it in, so he just filled his pockets. He then opened the bag of potatoes and helped himself. He put as many potatoes as he could in his pockets that were overflowing with flour. When he couldn't steal any more, they said, Seppi jumped clean through the storm door without breaking it. He just went through the crack in the door because he couldn't walk straight, with his socks pinned together with a rusty safety pin. Mama said the dream was a sign that Seppi was still hungry for heaven. He has to wait in a place called purgatory until he is ready for heaven. Sometimes it takes years, she said, and a lot of masses and prayers to clean your soul for heaven. Only priests and nuns and little baptized kids get straight through after death. They don't have to detour like the rest of us, who have to wait and have our sins peeled away, prayer by prayer. My brother said they wanted to go to purgatory when they died. It's near Alaska, Marie-Jeanne, Alfred said, where the snow is shimmering blue and you can slide off igloos all day. I found the place on the map at school, the one that rolls down over the blackboard. Mama warned Alfred and Albert not to tell Mrs. Landry where Seppi had landed. It will only make her cry more, and her knees are weak. It's hard for her to get to kneel and get going on her beads. They didn't. But they asked her if she knew where Alaska was. "No, I don't," she snarled, "and I don't care if I ever do." I believed then that she said that because she didn't know that's where Seppi was eating our potatoes and flour while waiting to get to heaven. My brothers asked about the place called hell. Hell is for people who leave the church, Mama said, and start sinning before they're off the step. These people die with cancer in their souls, and there is no cure for them. No prayers enter there. Nothing can put out the flames of hell once you're there. Albert said it was nowhere near Alaska on the school map. I was glad. I didn't want them to take a notion to go there if purgatory got too cold. When the storm passed, Mama told me and Alfred and Albert to look up at the sky. We ran to the porch where she was looking out the door. "Look at this. Do you know what this means?" she smiled. The sun was peering out from behind a cloud and the rain was still falling. Her voice was excited. When the sun shines and the rain falls, it means only one thing. She hurried on. The Blessed Mother and the devil are fighting together. A soul is on its way to heaven and the devil is trying to stop it. So the Blessed Mother came to meet it, and the devil started the fight. She made us make the sign of the cross. It could be Zeppi, she said. He could be on his way. We went back into the house. Mrs. Landry was snoring on the couch. Mama made a fire. She burnt the old boot that saved me and Lizzie. We had pea soup for supper. After supper, she made me some fudge for my birthday. It was too late to make a cake. When Mrs. Landry woke up, my brothers walked her home in the dark. They said they never told her that Zeppi had floated over our porch between the Mother of God and the devil when she was snoring.
Wow.
So,
You know, as you were reading, I was picturing the October, I believe it was. We had a big October storm in '74, and it was bringing back.
I was in Toronto then.
Well, here it was pretty miserable. And as you were describing the storm, I was thinking of that, and I was thinking, wow, okay, that was like 30 years later, but it was a bad one too.
Is that right? No, I was in Toronto at that time. But I remember when the storms and people would come into my mother's kitchen. Because people who were alone and they were afraid.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was 6 kids home and Mom and Dad, and we packed up and went to Nanny and Papa's house.
And
because it was more sheltered.
We had to bring out the boots and the holy water and
Oh, yeah.
it was a ritual.
Oh, yeah. And the kerosene lanterns were on the table for the ready, and
the fire
pots
was put
boiling
out
on the
in case
stove
the
and-
lightning hit the house and
Yeah,
started the
yeah.
fire, and
Yeah.
it was a whole ritual. A storm was...
So this is chapter 1.
This is chapter 1.
This is chapter 1. So we're going to have to get the book so we can read the whole story. So how old does Mary Jeanne get in the book?
Don't
give it all away.
I have her up to 22.
Okay, okay. So it really moves along quite well.
It covers, well, it would cover most of her, it covers her school life and the school life of the brothers. And,
Right. Okay.
So
That's
I bring in a DP, which was called a DP then, displaced person, after the war. And he's a Polish Jewish man. And he sets up a farm next door to these children, and
the story goes on.
The story goes from there, and
Okay.
he becomes like a father. He does become a father figure for these children, although he's never allowed in their house
Okay.
because the suspicion there of
Sure, yeah.
the
Yeah.
people were always afraid of foreigners coming in, and so it carries on from there. But he turns out to be a wonderful character for these kids.
Right, right. So you can look for a collection of nouns and verbs, hopefully in September.
Hopefully in September. I'm sure the launching will be in Toronto, but it will be,
Yeah.
I would like to have it here too.
Okay. Well, we can let our viewers know when you do a reading.
And Sheldon's, and
Yeah, yeah.
because they're both Cape Breton based books.
Right. Well, just keep us informed and we'll let our viewers
We
know.
will.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today. Beatrice.
Sure. It's a pleasure reading it.
I can't wait to read more. And thank you for watching Telile Today. If you have any show ideas or comments to make on today's show, I'd be happy to hear from you. You can reach me at 226-1928. Thank you for watching Telile Today. I'm Rhonda LeBlanc.